Welcome to the Therapy Trainings Podcast. I'm thrilled to have you here today as we dive into an important topic that affects all of us in the counseling profession: state laws and ethical guidelines that govern our practice. This episode serves as a companion to the course titled 3 CE Hours Kentucky Counselor Law Training, offered by Therapy Trainings. If you're a mental health professional, counselor, or therapist, you know how crucial it is to stay informed about the legalities of our profession. In the next few minutes, we'll summarize key points from the course, share additional insights, and tackle some common misconceptions that can leave even the most seasoned professionals scratching their heads. So, what can you expect from today's episode? We're going to cover 3 main areas: the importance of understanding counselor law, key legal and ethical responsibilities specific to Kentucky, and some common misconceptions that might trip you up in your practice. By the end of this episode, you'll have both a clearer understanding of your legal obligations and some practical tips to ensure you're operating within the law, keeping your practice safe and effective. Let's start with the first area: the importance of understanding counselor law. As mental health professionals, we often focus our attention on therapeutic techniques, client relationships, and personal growth. And while those are undeniably essential, we can't overlook the legal framework surrounding our practice. Laws exist not just to regulate, but to protect both our clients and ourselves. Imagine for a moment that you're in a session with a client who shares information that raises concerns about their safety or the safety of others. Knowing state laws regarding duty to warn, confidentiality limits, and mandated reporting can make the difference between a situation that is managed safely and effectively and one that spirals out of control. It's not just about knowing the rules. It's about being prepared to act in the best interest of your client and the community. The Kentucky Counselor Law Training course provides a detailed overview of these legal responsibilities. For instance, did you know that Kentucky law requires counselors to report child abuse or neglect? This is crucial information that ensures the safety of vulnerable populations. Similarly, understanding the nuances of confidentiality laws can help you navigate complex situations, allowing you to maintain trust with your clients while also fulfilling your legal obligations. Now, let's transition into the second key area: the legal and ethical responsibilities specific to Kentucky. Kentucky has its unique set of laws and regulations that govern our practice, and recognizing these can often feel like navigating a maze. One of the key takeaways from the course is the importance of being familiar with the Kentucky Board of Licensed Professional Counselors. This board outlines various requirements that counselors must meet in order to practice legally in the state. For example, it's essential to understand the process of licensure renewal. In Kentucky, licensed professional counselors must complete continuing education hours to maintain their license. This is where Therapy Trainings comes in, providing valuable courses like the one we're discussing today. Not only does this fulfill the requirement, but it also ensures that you stay up to date with the latest best practices and legal information. Another important aspect covered in the course is the concept of informed consent. Informed consent is not just a legal formality, it's a fundamental ethical principle that lays the groundwork for a trusting therapeutic relationship. In Kentucky, counselors must ensure that clients understand the nature of the services being provided, including the risks and benefits. This not only protects you legally, but it also empowers your clients to make informed decisions about their care. Now, while we're on the topic of informed consent, let's address some common misconceptions that counselors have regarding the legalities of their practice. One such misconception is that once a client signs a consent form, they're locked into that agreement forever. In reality, informed consent is an ongoing process. Clients have the right to ask questions, seek clarification, and even withdraw consent at any time. Remember, your role as a counselor is to facilitate open communication and ensure that your clients feel safe and respected throughout the therapeutic process. Another misconception is that confidentiality is absolute. While confidentiality is a cornerstone of our profession, there are exceptions. For instance, in Kentucky, counselors are mandated reporters for child abuse and neglect. This means that if you suspect abuse, you are legally required to report it, even if your client has disclosed this information in confidence. Understanding these nuances is vital for both your practice and your client's safety. Let's also touch on the importance of documentation. Good documentation practices aren't just a best practice, they can serve as your legal shield. When you document sessions, be sure to include informed consent discussions, any disclosures made by clients, and any steps taken to report abuse or safety concerns. This level of detail can be invaluable should any legal questions arise regarding your practice. Now, you might be wondering, how do we stay current with all these laws and ethical guidelines? This is where ongoing education comes into play. Therapy Trainings offers a variety of courses designed to keep you informed and compliant. By investing in your professional development, you're not just fulfilling a requirement, you're enhancing your skills and improving your practice. To sum up our discussion on Kentucky counselor law, remember that understanding the legal landscape is not merely a checkbox on your professional journey. It's a critical component of providing ethical and effective care. Familiarize yourself with the Kentucky Board of Licensed Professional Counselors, prioritize informed consent, and keep up with continuing education requirements. As we approach the end of our episode, let's recap the key insights we've covered today. Firstly, understanding the legal responsibilities of our profession is crucial for protecting both ourselves and our clients. Secondly, Kentucky has specific laws, such as mandatory reporting, licensure renewal, and informed consent, that every counselor should be familiar with. Lastly, we've discussed some common misconceptions that can lead to misunderstandings in our practice, emphasizing the importance of ongoing education and documentation. Now, as you reflect on what you've learned today, I encourage you to take action. If you haven't already, consider enrolling in Therapy Training's course on Kentucky counselor law. Not only will you gain valuable knowledge, but you'll also ensure that your practice aligns with state regulations. Remember, knowledge is power, and as mental health professionals, we have an obligation to empower ourselves and our clients. Thank you for joining me today on the Therapy Trainings podcast. I hope you found this episode enlightening and that you feel more equipped to navigate the complexities of counselor law in Kentucky. For more resources, courses, and information, don't forget to visit therapytrainings.com. Until next time, stay informed, stay ethical, and keep doing the incredible work you do.